Girls, what are some cute things your boyfriend does for you? So, I've been with Jake for about a year and a half. He's your typical guy's guy, loves his video games, can talk about motorcycles for hours, and usually expresses his feelings through fist bumps and awkward winks. When we first started dating, his idea of romance was ordering extra onion rings for me without asking. But you know what? I loved that about him. He was genuine, no pretense. Lately, I've been dealing with anxiety. Nothing major, just that constant background noise of worry about rent, the future, adult stuff. Jake knows about my anxiety because I'm an open book with him. Usually his response to my venting is suggesting practical solutions or sending me random memes. Classic guy move, right? But yesterday showed me how wrong I was about calling him not romantic. I was having one of those days where everything felt heavy. Earlier, I'd spilled tea on my favorite sweater, the soft blue one I wear when I need comfort, and I was sitting on my couch trying not to spiral over silly Instagram posts about perfect lives I'll never have. Jake came over after his soccer practice, and instead of his usual routine of crashing on my armchair to scroll on his phone, he seemed nervous. He had this grocery bag, and what happened next made me realize this wonderful goofball had been paying attention to every little thing about me all along. First, he pulled out my comfort ice cream, the store brand mint chocolate one that I always say tastes better than the expensive brands. And then came the softest fuzzy socks with little dogs on them. I always steal his socks because my feet are perpetually cold. But the next item, that's what started the waterworks. He brought out this tiny cactus in an adorable pot with elephants on it. You guys, this man, who knows nothing about plants, had gone to 3 different stores to find a cute but hard to kill plant because I once mentioned wanting to be a plant mom but having black thumb energy. But wait, it gets even sweeter. He pulled out this worn notebook, all crumpled like he'd been carrying it around forever. Inside were these lists he'd been making for months. Not just any lists. The most detailed, thoughtful observations about tiny things that make me happy. How I do a little jig when I find matching socks in the laundry. The specific way I eat shortbread cookies. That I name all the neighborhood cats, including the grumpy tabby one I called Lord Whiskers. How I always send him pictures of dogs I see in the park with captions like, rate this fluff 12/10. The fact that I have different blanket preferences based on my mood. Fuzzy for sad days, light for anxious days. That I talk to my plants when I water them, even though they're fake. How I organize my snack drawer by emotional support level. He'd even noted down the exact way I take my coffee when I'm sick. 1 sugar, steeped for exactly 3 minutes, tiny splash of cream, and that I need the perfect pillow nest to watch movies. 2 behind, 1 for hugging. When I started crying, because how could I not? This sweet man panicked so hard. He started apologizing, thinking he'd messed up, saying stuff like, I can take the plant back. I kept the receipt because I wasn't sure if elephants were your thing this week. I went through a penguin phase last month and he noticed that too. We ended up sitting on my living room floor, surrounded by his notes and empty ice cream containers, while he showed me more of his observations. Some were so specific it made me laugh through my tears. Must check phone is charging 3 times before sleeping. Names all her houseplants after Friends characters. Has a special voice for talking to bagels while they're in the toaster. Collects pretty pebbles from sidewalks and calls them her city gems. When I asked him why he did all this, his response melted my heart. He got all shy and said, remember when we first started dating and I was telling you about my uncle's old bike? You remembered every detail weeks later? Even the weird stuff about the busted headlight that only worked at night? Nobody ever remembers stuff like that about me. So I wanted to remember your stuff too. Then he admitted he's been working extra shifts at his job to save up for a real gift. But he wanted to give me this now because I seemed down. You guys, he thought this incredibly thoughtful gesture wasn't a real gift. I don't think he understands that this notebook is now my most prized possession.